Testing, testing, 1, 2. Hello, everybody. So, today I'm going to do a video about the world building of, the Little Helpers world. And I actually thought, should I actually take a while to plan names and do all this and that? It's like, maybe I should, but I'm impatient and I don't get opportunities to record like this often. So I have a very limited time window to record this, so I decided I ain't got time. So I may leave things unnamed or name them on the spot, and those names might get changed later. So the world that the Little Helpers lives in, which I still need to come up with a name for. Probably may not give it a name, may just call it Earth, but it's an alternate Earth where magical stuff doesn't hide and it's just open. But the world itself, similar to Shrek and other things, it's medieval or 18th century-ish, but they still have modern stuff like phones, the internet, TV, etc. In hospitals, they have heart monitors that beep. But they still have horse-drawn buggies. They still do the whole king and queen knight system, and all this other stuff. So it's very fantasy still. And it's not going to be a huge world depth because in real life there's almost 200 countries. So I'm not going to go into detail on all that. I'm just going to focus on specifically the kingdom that the story takes place in. And let me tell you about the continent layout. Similar to Game of Thrones, how we see the world map of the Game of Thrones universe, and it's basically just Europe, but shaped a little differently. And certain areas can line up to certain areas in real life. Like, underneath the land, there's an area that's basically the top of Africa, and over to the east, it's Asia. Although everything has a different name, and the actual continent shape is shaped differently. So imagine like that. That's basically that. It's like our Earth, but everything's slightly off. That's a good way to put it. So let me come up with a name on the spot right now for the kingdom. You know what? Maybe I should just save this for later. Maybe coming up with a name on the spot is not a great idea. I'll call it Fantasy. No. I'll call it. Sorry, I'm making myself. This is gonna be a terrible recording. I'll probably scrap this. Dang it. This is a terrible recording. I should have had this planned out more. Yeah, screw it. Why not? Leave it in. I'll call the name of the place. Not King Daria. That's so stupid. No. Why did that pop into my mind? Fantasia. No, that's already something. Fantasia. I like that. Fantasia. The name of the kingdom is Fantasia. And in this kingdom, there's some tension going on between the humans and the non-humans. The humans begrudgingly let the non-humans exist with them because they refuse to go. But they clearly don't like them. Most of them. Some of them do. Mostly it's the older generations that don't like them too much. The newer generations are alright with them. Now, if I were to get into politics, I don't even fully understand real politics, not fully. So I can't get into the full depth of politics. But let's just say things are kind of messy. Because after the queen's sister ended up getting with one of these non-humans. Out of jealousy, she made it illegal to be with one, which sparked some tensions and a lot of magical creatures protesting. So there's that. Now let me come up with a name for the queen. You know what? Fantasia. Queen Fantasia. Makes sense that the kingdom will be named after the family that owns it. Although, now that she's married to a different guy, due to an arranged marriage, she probably has a different last name. And it's funny because the name of the place is named after the family that rules it, but the current guy in charge has a different last name. So I don't know, I just find that funny. Would I have to change the name of the kingdom? Or from this point on, will it just be this guy, this bloodline ruling it, with his last name? That'll be for me to decide later. I can think of a name for the other guy. King Thomas. No, Thomason. Thomas Thomason. King Thomas Thomason. And the queen, now that she had to take his last name, is now Queen Thomason. Bethany Thomason. So, the sister of this queen, who wasn't the next heir to the throne because she wasn't the oldest, we'll call her... We already get the last name, so let me just think of the first name. Elizabeth. That's a good name, Elizabeth. So there we go, we got her name. And the deer guy that she was dating, we'll call him Dashy Hooves. Because he's fast. He's like a student athlete of some kind. Now we got all that established, now let's move on to the other things in the world. You know, like certain laws. In this world where magic is the main thing instead of science, laws have to be formed around certain magic spells. Because magic is just an open and widely used thing. So we're going to say, you know, any spell that seems shady and evil and like anything that's negative, like putting a curse on someone, that's illegal. If it gets found out you're the one who did it, you're fined. If not, jail time. Depending on how bad the curse, you may even get the death penalty. Like cursing someone to have bad luck, but not death, that's like a misdemeanor. Like little bad lucks, like that. If you curse someone to get hurt, not seriously hurt where you'll die, but just hurt, where you have to be in the hospital for a minute, need some time to recover, and that's a felony. Now, if someone dies because of you, that's it, maximum sentence, depending on where in the kingdom you are. Some areas in the kingdom either just put you in prison for the rest of your life, or the dungeon, I should say, or they execute you by a hanging, because that's how they did things back then. This was before the chair, before the needle, before everything. Now, guns do exist, but they're 18th century guns. They're muskets. They're not very efficient. Most people decide to use magic. And I could cover the rest of the world, but right now I'm just covering this kingdom. And in this kingdom, the casual citizens are not supposed to have magic that can shoot beams of energy out of their hands. The same way that in countries IRL, outside of America, you're not allowed to just casually have a gun. So if any citizen is caught with a spell that allows them to shoot energy from their hands, that's a felony. And I already covered some of this in Mortimer's video about how mind control, love spell, memory altering, amnesia, memory erasing, and all that. Anything that's along those lines, that's just straight up illegal. And that's a felony right there. Not death penalty, but just a felony. Now, when it comes to spells about bringing someone back to life, I also covered this in Mortimer's video, but I'm just going to say it again. Because 9 times out of 10 it goes wrong, it usually doesn't bring them fully back. Either it brings them back but they're like corrupted and evil, similar to Pet Sematary, or they just come back as the undead zombies, or skeletons, or vampires, or any kind of undead you can think of, really. It's come back, and it's not good. So trying to resurrect someone is just a no-go. Although exceptions have been made. Not in this kingdom that the story takes place in, but other places in this world. Like other places have, their rulers get resurrected after they die because they don't want to switch to a new one. Dictatorships, basically. Like imagine if Joseph Stalin or Kim Jong-il or even current leader Kim Jong-un found a spell to bring themselves back from death. Any chance of those places in the world ever getting better? They're null and void. That's kind of how this world is. There are some countries in this world that are kind of doomed because they didn't have laws preventing certain spells. Now, another reason why, other than, the obvious, is religious. Christianity exists in this world. I heard something. Christianity exists in this world, and that's part of the reason why it's seen as bad to mix breed with the non-humans, because the Bible says don't do that, and humans shouldn't even be using magic. So, there's a lot of prejudice there. And resurrecting someone from the dead, I'm pretty sure in the Bible it says when someone's time has come, it's their time, you're supposed to let them go. So bringing them back is against God's will in their eyes. So that's another reason why resurrection spells are illegal. But Mortimer tried to resurrect the third girl he fell in love with, because that's the one that actually loved him back. And it didn't work though. She came back as a zombie and started turning people, and it caused an outbreak. He managed to cover up the fact that he started it for a while. But after mind controlling his fourth love, they did some investigating and found out. And there we go. There you go, that's some world building for you right there. Oh, they don't have TV screens like we see in Shrek. It's more like either a giant crystal ball, a magic puff of smoke, a mirror, or even a witch's cauldron where the picture appears on the surface of the liquid. Things like that. That's what they got. Imagine the heart monitor, instead of it being in a square box on a glass screen, it's a crystal ball on a pole or something. And that's about it. There you go. I may do some more world building videos later, but right now I think this is a good start. Till then, see you guys next time.